This is a Royal Tale podcast, a place where we meet with extraordinary people, get into their brains, and share the information that's usually discussed behind closed doors, in hopes that it will serve you. Ladies and gents, today's guest, ex-Iman Gadzhi, Andrew Kirby, and current Hamza content strategist and editor, Aman Lata. All right, Mr. Aman, welcome on the board. Happy to talk with you and really excited actually for this episode. We have talked one time, but I already understood and got the glance of your mind, which is quite unique. So that's why I'm super excited. And my first question is, why should people listen to this episode?
The reason why people should listen to this episode is because a lot of people are actually giving out advice on social media that they haven't really done anything, right? They haven't had the experience, and there are only a few select people that know what they're doing. Everyone out there is teaching how to grow their Instagrams. And I know people that are Instagram gurus, but they've never gotten more than 20,000 views themselves. So it's crazy. And I've had the experience to work with big people in the niche like Iman, Gadzhi, Andrew Kirby, Hamza himself. Right now, I'm leading the affiliate marketing department for them. So yeah, this is advice that you can take with your eyes closed. And that's a good reason to listen to this podcast.
I think you should take a sales role. You're quite a great candidate. All right. But anyways, all right. Anyways, let's actually jump into it. So I really want to understand actually how not every single person can get known themselves across the globe, but I gonna start a little bit more on an expensive setup, and then in the second part I'm gonna transit more into for everyday person how they can actually get their name out there. So first of all, I want to understand what's really the mindset that you have to adopt when you are setting yourself a goal that, hey, I want that the world hears my message and I want to get, let's call it famous, you know? So what's the mindset in the first place that you have to develop and when you are approaching this goal?
That's a really good question, because people are just like, we need to create videos first, and they don't really think about the mindsets behind what they're doing. So to answer your question, I think there would be three things that are necessary, like that you absolutely need to get success with this. The first one would be long-term commitment to content creation. You cannot be in this game for 90 days, 3 months, 6 months, and expect to get results, right? There's this really good story that Alex Hormozi says. And when Alex Hormozi was starting to create content, he saw a guy that had been posting for 10 years. And that guy had mentioned that he gets 3,000 inbound leads every single month for his business. Now, Alex thought to himself that it would be really nice if I had 3,000 leads myself, right? So then this is exactly what he thought. So now if I create content regularly, consistently for 10 years, I will have 3,000 leads, and that will be worth it for me. And how many people do you think look at that time scale? People are like 90 days, 6 months, and Alex was thinking in 10 years, right? So we need to expand our timelines here. And the first thing is definitely long-term commitment to content creation. This is a long game. You're not going to win it if you're just in it for 3 months. People that stay longer than you are going to obliterate you, and you're just going to be thrown out of the water. The second thing I would say is being authentic. Andrew Kirby, if you guys don't know him, he has a channel that has 650,000 followers, 650,000 followers, I'd say. Yeah. So he had an interview with Hamza, and in that interview, he asked Hamza the one thing that they need to win this content game. And Hamza replied, being authentic. Those were his two words, being authentic. That's it. Now, if you know Hamza, if you watch any of his videos, he goes crazy with being authentic. He tells stories that even the FBI could not get out of me, right? In one of his videos, he gets so authentic, and he tells the audience that I'm going to tone it down because I don't talk like that. But he basically tells the audience that I was once jacking off, like beating my meat 3 times in a row. And the third time that I did it, it wasn't even hard. And that's the level of authentic stories that he can tell to his audience. And I can't relate to that. I don't do that stuff. But a lot of people
Yeah.
were like, okay, this guy is really sharing stuff, personal stuff. And I can relate to this. Like I see myself in this guy, and he's not like the other YouTubers that are perfect all the time. He has flaws like me. He's a human. So I like the message that he has. I might like give him a subscribe. I might watch more of his videos. So being authentic is crucial. And the third thing I would say is having a bigger purpose around your channel. Imagine you are a fitness influencer and you go and talk on your YouTube channel and you tell people, hey guys, please go gym. That's your message. You go on YouTube, hey guys, please go gym. It's really nice for you. You build muscle. You can eat protein, 1 pound or 1 gram every pound of body weight. And that's how vanilla their message is. But imagine the other fitness YouTubers that are actually out there that are actually making an impact. They truly 100% believe that they are changing lives. They are helping people not be degenerates. They are saving people from being fat, from being weak. They're helping people be confident. They're helping people lead better lives. So that's really important, that you actually believe in the message that you're spreading out. Something that is huge. It's far more than what you can get for yourself. If you're starting the YouTube channel just to get views for yourself, I mean, I'm sorry to break it to you, you're probably not going to win, because there are people out there that have a purpose behind it. They think, I'm doing this to change lives. This is making an impact on a global scale. I'm changing millions and millions of lives. Every single person that watches my video, his life is becoming better because of my video. And I'm proud of that. So you need to have those 3 things. To sum it all up, the first thing I'd say is long-term commitment to content creation. The second thing is being authentic. And the third thing is always have a bigger purpose than just getting views for yourself.
Awesome. I love that, actually. Really practical and actually actionable. So I'm curious, though, because this is a big challenge that's happening. I have also seen that across our clients and etc. Around the globe, actually, the word authentic, being authentic, like, it's easy to say, but it's hard to do. So I want to understand more because you have worked with guys like Iman, Gadzhi, Hamza, and etc. So there is some kind of framework that comes also along the way. And in my opinion, what I sense, what I can hear from you, from your experience, it's more actually that they had specific problem in the past. They didn't want to have that problem. So they went out for the hunt. They found a solution. They changed. And that kind of became kind of like their purpose. And that's the message that you can actually spread out. Is that kind of the framework, or maybe you have some different thoughts on that?
That's a beautiful way to think about it. And being authentic is just being yourself. Just don't be like the other guys. If you're just going on YouTube and saying generic stuff, like I took the example of fitness influencers, right?
Yeah.
Work out, eat protein. That's basic. That's very basic.
Yeah.
You have to tell them stories, experiences that only you have had, things that only you have done. You can talk from experience, and your experiences are very individual. It's very unique to you. Not everyone lives the life that you have lived. So that's the best way to come across as authentic. Just be yourself. And it's really important when you're creating a personal brand. Just try not to get into an archetype. Like there are a lot of people with Iman's success, they try to copy him completely. They try to talk like him. They try to have the Instagrams like him. It's crazy. You're losing yourself, and you're not building your personal brand. You're building his, in a way, if you think about it. So don't do that. Please be authentic.
Makes totally sense. Yeah, I have seen that all the time. All right. By the way, one thing I do want to mention, this is only the second episode. So at this very moment, there's not a lot of viewers, but by the time they're going to be. So this guy is legendary. You can already understand his level of thinking. So click below. There's in this description, actually, your agency's link. He is working. he's not actually accepting anyone really right now, but down the line, I hope you're going to actually expand the agency. And also we're going to be able to work together one day. But anyways, let's move forward. So sure. I am curious, what's the theme behind that's required to actually pull out the success, for example, like an Iman Gadzhi? If you're like opening your mind, you got the budget, you got the experience, you're Navy entrepreneur or content creator or whoever, and you're ready to take that shot to the world-class stage, what is the team required to pull this off?
So if you're thinking on that scale, like you have the budget and everything for that, let's talk about both people. Let's talk about people that don't have the greatest budget. Yep. And let's talk about if you have all the budget in the world. Do we want to do that, or should I just talk about
let's actually do that. Let's do that in both examples.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So business basics, right? The first person that you hire in your business needs to be the one activity that you need to delegate the most. So with video editing and content, the thing that takes up most of your time at the start is editing. You need to edit your content, and it takes longer than recording it because you have to do a lot of stuff. Editing is very time consuming, and it's hard as well. So yeah, editor is the first thing that you need to hire if you were starting out, if you have the budget for that. But if you're talking about a very high level guy like Iman Gadzhi, and you have the budget, you have the best talent in the world, you have access to it, the first person you need to hire is someone that has already done the thing that you need doing. So like someone that has made someone else famous or has been a part of it in some way
like
or the other.
You.
And I'm a humble guy. So
right.
yeah. So where was I forgot.
Yes, you were speaking.
You need to hire. Got it. You need to hire someone that has already done it and he knows the ins and outs of social media. You cannot hire someone that's a newbie because, well, you have the budget. Why would you hire a newbie, right? So then what that person is going to do, he's going to build a team out of editors, of managers. If you have a team of 50 people, you probably need a person, right, that look over everyone and make sure that doing their tasks, because you won't be able to manage 50 people, right? So you have to first hire a main guy that manages everyone. Then you need to hire a second base level of managers, and then you have all the editors below them, and the managers can also do work, but they'll also be managing the editors.
Gotcha. So I'm curious, actually, going back a little bit. So for the people who doesn't have, for example, the budget in the place, so how much actually would they need to look at when they are hiring the editor? What's the cost that they have to take in consideration once hiring him? And do you have any tips where to find actually these editors?
So the editor that you're going to be hiring, it's really depending on the skill that he has. Editors range from $10 to $500 for one video. And you can see that in every single market, right? There are prices for every different skill level. And the better the skill you're paying for, the better, like the more you have to pay, right? So you can start, if you're starting out, it depends on your budget, honestly. I can't give you a specific number. If you have the budget for $1,000 editor, go for it. If you have the budget for a $50 editor, go for it. The main thing that matters is that you're not doing the task yourself. You're delegating it to someone else so you can do the more important parts, like recording the video, scripting the video, right? So that's what matters more. And if you can invest in a better editor, always do, because you have to pay for good skill. You always have to invest in good talent. If you're paying for a normal $10 editor, $20 editor, you're going to get results like that. The editing is not going to be that good, but when you move up the ranks, you'll see that the editing comes out really good. So that's how you should start.
Absolutely. There's also the saying, I didn't remember exactly, but it was once you hire an amateur, actually, it's so much more expensive than actually hiring the professional, because on average, what you can see the return on investment itself is, if you're just going to hire like a beginner or amateur, it's going to really go like, you're going to get, for example, $100 out. But if you hire a player, you're going to get $800. So usually it's 8 times more better than the amateur and the beginner. So, all right, cool. I am curious then, when it comes down to the resources, if we want to get to that world-class level, how much on average, I know you cannot be specific in this case, but on average, how much we should consider to put down every single month to get our name on a world-class level?
So if you're looking to get your name in the world-class level, let's say you hire at least 6 to 8 editors, and they cost you at least $1,000. Like if you're paying them less than that, don't. Please pay them $1,000, and you're hiring them full-time. So 8 editors at $8,000, and then you hire 1 manager, because 1 manager can do all of that stuff. You might need 2, but yeah, you're paying him, let's just say $5,000 or $6,000. You'd need around $15,000, $16,000 to start out, absolute base level, if you really want to take like the content game to the next level. Alex Hormozy spends $70,000 a month on his content game, and he said that he makes he said that he gets $2 million worth of impressions. Now, you tell me if that money is worth it or not.
Absolutely. No questions to ask there. All right. So I'm curious then about the time investment. So this is something that usually our clients has had an obstacle with, which is the time investment. So how much time you should really spend if you want to get on a world-class level?
So when you have a team, the only thing you'll have to do yourself is actually thinking about the videos you're going to record and actually record them, because everything else is going to be taken care of. The posting, the thumbnails, the titles, the editing, the videos, it's all taken care of by your team. What you need to do, and the only thing you need to do to have the maximum ROI on your time, is to record. So you can put out time to record like every single day if you can afford that. 2 hours every single day. You can script, you can record your own YouTube videos, but that is if you're taking it really seriously. Alex Hormozy, he spends like an entire day in his week just recording content for his YouTube channel, for his short form content. So you can do that too if you want. But yeah, whatever works for you, honestly. Alex does it that way. You can take out time every single day, whatever works for you, but you just have to record.
It's like the same thing, like especially youngsters, the younger generation are always asking successful people, hey, give me the fast shortcut, give me the tip, trick, and etc. Like there is not such a thing, really. It's a personalized experience. So you have to understand in the first place actually who you are and how do you work as a human being. So, all right, I am curious about this question, and this pops all the time across our clients' board. And also, I was curious about it. So people, I think, get this wrong. They start just filming some kind of random video, and then they come up with the title and the thumbnail. So what's the formula there with what you have to start with, actually? With the video, with the idea, with the title, thumbnail? Yeah.
Always start with the idea and then look for videos that have performed well. So step 1, I'll give you like literally the steps that you need to perform. So if you're looking to record it, you can do this right now. What you need to do is you need to come up with video ideas that are specific to you. So imagine you're someone that has done like $1 million in sales in like a year. So you have a specific video to make, and you come up with a video idea that, okay, I did $1 million in a year. So now you need to think about the titles and the thumbnails that you need, right? Now you have a content idea. You will teach people how, or you'll tell people how you went from 0 to 1 million in a year. Now you have an idea. Now you need to look for titles and thumbnails for that. So what you do is you do some basic research on YouTube. You go on YouTube, you go on the search bar, and you type exactly that, 0 to 1 million, my story. And then you're going to see a lot of videos that have performed well. What you can do for that is filter by most popular, and you'll see the titles that are working, the thumbnails that are working. So once you see that, just don't copy it exactly, but take inspiration from it. Do something like that. And that's the perfect formula to get more clicks, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to paint it in different color, right? Paint it like in your color. So once you do that, you have a title and a thumbnail. Then you go into recording the actual video. Recording the actual video, I could talk about it in like an hour. It's a huge process.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into detail, but then you record the video and then you post it. That's how it works.
Awesome. You just solved, I think, a lot of people's nightmares, a lot of people's problems, because this is always a question that comes up in our agency. All right. Then moving forward, are there any obstacles that we should consider when we are actually filming the content? And with the obstacles, I know it's really broad question itself in general, but with obstacles, I mean, for example, any bans that you're experiencing, or maybe you're not able to find the right editor, you need to fire him, and like talk maybe about that a little bit more in depth.
The obstacles, if you don't have a huge social media following, it's going to be comparatively harder for you to get good talent, right? Because someone like Hamza, he can just go on his stories, I need a video editor, 1,000 people apply, and you just pick the best ones. You have the cream of the crop at your fingertips. But if you're someone that doesn't have a social media following yet, what you can do is you can go on platforms like Upwork. You'd have just pay for good quality, I would say, because the cheaper editors, you can find it anywhere. You can find them on Discord, Facebook groups. They're like everywhere. But if you want good quality work, go on Upwork, put a job posting, and you're going to find like a lot of good editors. I've found 1 or 2 good editors that do really great editing, and I managed to get a deal. I managed to get a good deal on them. So that's what I recommend. If you're trying to find editors, go on Upwork and do that. Or you can look into your own network. So if you know people that are into the content game, just ask them, like, where do you get your video editors from? Do you know anyone? And they might know anyone, and they'd probably set you up. So in terms of finding video editors, you should do that. And there might be another obstacle that you might face while recording content. So a lot of people want to make money right now, and content is not for that. If you want to make money right now, don't look into the content game. If you're looking to make money long term, this is for you, right? If you want to make money, focus on your business right now. And if you want to make it a long-term thing, then only go into content, because you might go into content and start recording, start editing, start posting stuff, and you probably won't see results for 3 months, and you'll be like, okay, this is not working. So you'll quit. Don't do that. The only way you lose absolutely is if you quit. So please don't quit. That's another obstacle. Like in people's heads, they just quit too soon. You have to do enough volume for enough time to actually get results. This is something Alex Hormozy talks about. He says volumes into time is equals to results, right? Yep. And I'm a big fan of that philosophy. So you need to do enough time. That's another obstacle I can think about. Anything else you want me to talk about?
No, that's actually on the point. So if that applies actually across the board, across the life itself, like if people just could plug in the long-term focus itself instead of actually the short-term, like their life generally would actually change for better. And like it's hard to find for people the time to actually understand that concept. But anyways, let's move forward. So this is really interesting question. I'm curious about myself because like it's circling back to being authentic. Because people who are authentic in the first place, they always gonna pop up. It's either in politics, it's either in the business, and etc., etc. Like if you are living true to yourself, you always gonna do what's in your mind, and you're gonna be different. And different people are difficult. And I love to see difficult people, because those people are the ones who speak up when everyone is silent or scared, and etc. Those are the people who has the courage. So what I think, this is my belief right now. I may be wrong, maybe no. That's why we are having this conversation. So what are the traits actually of becoming successful speaker or content creator? Because in my opinion, you cannot just be like I don't know, again, it's circling back to being authentic. You cannot just be anyone else, or I don't know even how to describe that. So what are the traits of successful people? Who are successful content
do
creators?
understand your question.
Yeah.
I understand your question completely. And there's only one answer to this. And think about it. The best content creators are the best storytellers. The only one trait you need to learn better is storytelling. We've all heard Alex Hormozy talk about his 19-year-old neighbor that he helped him save 200K in his, like, by the time he was 22. We've all heard Iman talk about stories with his mom when he was younger.
Yep.
We've all heard Hamza talk about stories of his past, his girls, the friends, the fun he used to have, the degeneracy, and now how he's successful.
Yep.
Right? Like, name your favorite content creator. And think about the stories that they tell. Can you name your favorite content creator right now in the business niche?
In the business niche, he's not alive right now. It's Steve Jobs, but I would say from if you're realistic more, it's Alex Hormozy. That's the guy I like the most. And I also like that. Do you know you know what's consulting.com, right?
Yeah, Sam Owens.
Yes, not Sam Owens though. There's the new founder. I like the way how he's right now actually putting the video piece together. I like that guy. Do you know him or no?
I don't know him, but is he the owner of Flow Research Collective as well?
Yes,
Or am I just talking about something else? Okay,
that's correct. Yes, that's basically the guy I really like. Yeah.
So, like, let's talk about Alex Hormozy because the other guy I don't really know much about. So there are stories that he tells. He tells the story about Layla Hormozy. He talks about his marriage all the time. He talks about his neighbors. He talks about the time that he had in his college, right? He was really depressed. He rammed his car into a tree, and all the times, like the talks that he had with his dad. Stories are what makes you connect with people. So I'm going to talk about storytelling and why it's important. And also then I'm going to give you tips so you can actually become a better storyteller and you can talk better. You can perform like actual content creator. I believe I got stuck. You froze.
I know. Oh, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Yeah, you're
all
back.
good.
Yep. So yeah, storytelling is the most important part of creating content. Again, like I said, the best content creators, are just the best storytellers. They invoke emotions in you that happen. They make you feel like you're with them, like in the exact story. So here are steps that you can actually take to become a better storyteller. And the first step, if you're really bad with speaking, like I was pretty bad, like I couldn't talk properly. My tone was pretty monotonous. I used to talk like this all the time, and like it was really bad. Like anyone I used to talk to, I just used to talk like this, no emotion and stuff. So you need to actually have emotions behind, like you need to learn tonality. The most important tip I'll give you for that is just emulate the person you look up to. So there might be, again, a content creator that you look up to. Let it be Alex Hormozy, let it be Hamza, let it be Iman, let it be Andrew, anyone, right? Just look at their speaking patterns, look at their speech patterns, look at where they pause, look at when they get loud, look at when they slow down, and they emphasize on a point that you need to remember. Look at how they do these different things and try to emulate them yourself. And that's the best way you can learn how to speak better. Now, once you know how to speak better in a more captivating manner, because again, going back to the fitness influencer example that I told you, you need to be a better speaker, right? So I can just go sit here and, guys, please go gym, eat protein. That can be one tone. Or I can go, it is a shame for a man to grow without the beauty and the strength that his body is capable of. When you go to the gym, you're not succumbing to the lower pleasures in life. You're actually getting better. You're actually doing something that's going to help you in the future. You're helping your future self. And with that, you're helping your future kids, your future wife. It's a big impact that you're making just by making a decision to go to the gym today. Imagine being the guy that doesn't that doesn't work on his fitness today. Your wife might actually go and be with someone that actually did the hard work and is stronger than you now, is more fit than you now, makes more money than you now. Just because you were lazy, just because you didn't have the courage or like the discipline to actually just go to the gym. How hard is it? So those are two ways that you can say the same thing, the same message, but it makes a different impact, right? People will actually listen the next time and they won't the first time. There's another interesting story. Andrew Tate actually went in a room with where there was millionaires and billionaires, and he said no one was talking about how their day was, what they had for lunch today. It was all stories. They were all talking in stories, like no facts, no figures. It was all stories. So emulate people that you look up to. The second thing you can do is, and this might be bad advice, so take it at your own risk. Talk like you're on psychedelics, right? This is a tip that I got from Hamza, and just talk like you're drunk. Talk like you're a poet. It just makes a different impact on you, on the people that are listening. Like you just get more poetic. It's just more impactful. You get slow. You don't feel the stress. You just calm, and people will listen to you more if you just talk in that sense. Like just don't, just talk like you're on psychedelics. That's the second point. The third point is use the word imagine a lot. So what storytelling is, you want people to be in the story with you, make them feel as many emotions as possible, right? You ideally want them to feel the same emotions as you did in that exact same situation. So when you use the word imagine, you're actually making the person come into the story and imagine himself in the like story itself. So imagine you are a guy and you go to the gym and you see a really cute girl that you like. Now you can either make the decision to go up to her and ask her for a number, or you can just, not do that and regret it the rest of your life. She could have been your wife, bro. You missed your shot. So like now you're imagining yourself. It's a good story and you're actually doing that, right? So that's a good word that you can use a lot of times. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Whenever you're telling stories, make sure you don't lead with facts and figures, lead with stories. Whenever someone asks you a question, and you've seen me do this throughout this entire interview, you can watch this again. I never said, okay, this is what you need to do. I was talking like, okay, Iman does this. Iman has this process. Okay, Andrew Tate does this. Okay, Hamza had this process. He talks in his YouTube videos. So always, whenever someone asks you a question, make sure you just don't straight up tell them the answer. Like if it's facts, they don't care. Like maybe they do care, they won't, but it won't be as much impact. It won't have as much impact as it would if you told a story behind it. So it's a skill that I'm learning. And yeah, that's a long ass answer, but I think that's a good answer.
This was brilliant, actually. And I suggest for every single person who actually just watch this to replay it and analyze it, because the thing about that you said about like talking like you're a drunk a little bit, I have actually oftentimes thought about this, and it makes totally sense once you said this, because you are the first person actually I heard talking about this. This was brilliant. And then one more thing, there is the sentence from Hormozy also, which is don't make people understand, make them feel understood. This applies to what you just said, right? To summarize it.
I agree. That's a really great summary of what I just said.
All right, cool. Let's actually jump to the next one. By the way, that one was fireballs. Let's move forward. So how do you see boosting your engagement at the beginning by ads? So if there are people who are, again, in the mindset of short term and they have the funds, for example, should they boost their engagement, for example, YouTube engagement by ads, or they shouldn't?
So it's a really tricky question, right? I've never had experience with this because the people I've worked with, we've never used ads. But there's a really nice thing that I want to share with you guys, like you and the people that are watching the interview, there's this podcast, the All In podcast, and the hosts of the podcast are four billionaires, right? And they talk about everything that's on their mind. And they all believe that all ad spend will be spent on content in the near future. And by 2025 or in 5 years, they said, I don't remember exactly what it was, but all ad spend is going to be spent on actually like content, right? So if you're someone that is starting out on a budget, just spend that money on the editor or like hiring a content specialist that manages the entire team. But if you're someone that has the budget, I can't really talk about it much because I don't have experience, but I know people that have had a lot of success with YouTube ads. So don't do Facebook ads, I'd say, because I don't think they're working anymore. Sam Owens has a 24 hours masterclass, the best training on Facebook ever. And he himself came out to his community and he told that Facebook ads suck. Like he straight up said those words. So I would say look into YouTube ads. This is not my like forte, so I can't really speak much on that. But that would be my 2 cents on this question.
I can actually speak on that with quite big confidence because this is something we have applied for some of the biggest also fitness industry leaders in coaching niche itself. So YouTube ads are, they're brilliant. Facebook ads, they are not brilliant really at all. But anyways, that's not the topic for today. We can go into that by hours. But anyways, I am curious because there are some people still watching this video who are short-term minded and they're like doing this and they are trying to find that one tip, one trick for them to accelerate the growth faster when it comes down to getting viral. So any tips, tricks, strategies on how to go viral faster?
So there are a lot of things that you can do to go viral faster. It's not like you have to wait that long. You can just be better and you can win, right? It's not like you'd remove luck from the equation if you just did it for long enough, but there's definitely success that you can have in the short term as well. Devin Jatho, if you don't know him, he is a guy that has 250,000 followers on Instagram right now. And I think he accumulated that all in 6 months. 250,000 followers on Instagram, and he does short form content only. So it's not like you can't win. It's just you might have to get lucky a bit. So the 4 tips I would say is first, hop on podcasts. Hop on as many podcasts as you can, do a podcast circuit. So when we actually started the Iman's like content team, starting going all in short form content, Iman did a podcast circuit. He hopped on 5-6 podcasts.
Yeah.
He already had a lot of podcast requests. So he just picked the people that he liked the most and he hopped on a podcast with them. And we just cut the clips up and we put it on social media. And it was insane the amount of views we got from that. And I'll talk stats now. So the videos that were performing the best for us, around 50% of them were podcasts. We had like 5-6 post types. 50% of them were podcasts.
Wow.
So it's really impactful, the power that podcasts can have. So definitely go on a podcast circuit. Like ask your friends if they could invite you on a podcast, or like fly somewhere out if you have the money, right? Do a podcast or do this, what we're doing right now, right? We can even chop this up and post this. We both have good setups. So yeah, it looks presentable on social media. Awesome. In-person podcasts will do better because the quality would be better. But yeah, this is totally fine as well if you absolutely cannot afford to go out. The second thing, we'll cut this part, okay?
Sure. You're doing fucking great, man.
Appreciate it. So the second thing is you need to be polarizing. Like Iman, Hamza, Tate, they don't hop on like their YouTube videos and they say, go to the gym, make money, do better in life, just wake up early, make your bed. They talk like this. They talk like, think about your dream woman. You probably cannot have her right now. Now think about another guy that is focused on working out every single day and getting stronger, that is focused on working every single day. He's not succumbing to the lower pleasures in life, and he's not like chasing women for casual sex. He's not watching porn every single day on his phone, choking his chicken, whatever, every single day. And he's not like absolutely hopping on his computer playing video games. Like he's not doing that. And the moment you do those things, if you're someone that does those things, you're actually going, like he's going to beat you, right? Imagine your dream woman. She could have been yours if you just stayed on the path every single day, working hard like that guy, having no distractions. But you chose to watch porn, you chose to watch YouTube videos, you chose to skip gym, and you like, yeah, you just didn't work out that day. You had junk food. And now that the woman that could have been yours is going to be impregnated by that guy. Listen to me again. The dream woman that you have, she's going to be impregnated by a guy because he's better than you, because he put more work in. And that fucks with your head, right? Like imagine your dream woman getting railed by another guy, a guy that's better than you. Will that not make you want to go to the gym right now, do better, not do anything? How
Absolutely.
polarizing is that? And the problem with that is a lot of people might think, oh, but if I say that, I might get a lot of haters. People will hate me a lot. But there's also other side on that, right? You cannot have hate without love. If there are people that extremely hate you, there will be people that extremely love you as well. They'll be like, oh, fuck, this is what I needed to hear. Like, this is what I needed. I will follow this guy. And there's a concept that Austin Kleon talks about in his book, Probably Show Your Work, one of his 3 books. And he tells that you only need 1,000 fans to be good for the rest of your lives. Those 1,000 fans will buy everything you make, will come up to every show that you present, will do anything that you ask them to do. It's not about the amount of followers that you have. It's also about the quality of followers that you have. So be polarizing. You absolutely need to like fuck with people's head as much as you can. Make sure it's true to yourself, but make sure to fuck with people as much as you can. The third thing is trend jacking. So we've covered hopping on podcasts, then be polarizing. Now we're going to talk about trend jacking. And the most obvious example is Tate, Iman, Hamza. What trend did they hop on? The masculinity trend, right? Yep. They all talked about masculinity. They talked about like these women, and men were actually facing a lot of pressure. We needed someone like Tate to come in and actually break that pattern of like women just like stepping on us all the time in a way, right? So they hopped on that masculinity trend, and Tate blew up. Iman blew up. You could see a lot of people, a lot of videos that he had that were doing good views. It just got a lot of views because it's trending right now. Hamza, same thing. Go on his YouTube channel, sort by most popular. It's going to be everything on the most, like on the masculinity niche. He has videos on how to increase testosterone. He has videos on how to become more disciplined. These are things that are related to the masculinity niche. So what is a trend in your niche? Imagine you're talking about business. What is a trend that business has? Imagine you're talking about finances. What is a trend in your niche that you can hop on to get more views? That's a really important thing that you need to do. And the third thing you need to do is do cool shit, and you need to talk about it. And this is the part that most people miss. A lot of people, a lot of new guys that are starting out YouTube, they'll be like, oh, bro, I'm going to create a new YouTube channel and I'm going to grow it to 100K followers in 90 days. And I'm like, okay, cool, bro. What do you do outside of YouTube? What are you like? What have you done? No, bro, like I'm still in school. I've not done much. I've started going to the gym now. But yeah, I think people need to hear what I have to say. Like, and I just look at them like, why? Like, why do people need to hear what you have to say?
Absolutely. There's a
reason.
Absolutely. There's also the book, Ready, Aim, Fire, where they talked about the same concept, which is kind of, there are wannabe entrepreneurs and there are actually real entrepreneurs. And this is kind of also the scenario of wannabe content creator and actually real content creator, which is actually what you said, do cool shit. It's first of all, be cool yourself, like develop that mindset, which is something you can actually already adapt from this episode. Like I gotta be honest, I am thinking actually on a different level, and I know the exact steps I'm gonna implement actually after this exact episode. So thank you for that. All right, let me ask you this question, one of the last questions. So this is also what usually comes into people's brains. They don't know what to start to film. Is it YouTube videos? Are there, for example, Instagram, TikTok? Where do you should actually start?
So I would say play to your strengths, and you really need to make a choice. Yeah. Are you going to start with short form content, or are you going to start with long form content? Like, we're only talking about video content here, so I'm going to forget about tweets or blogs, but that's a road you can go down if you're a writer. Yeah. But we'll talk about video content because that's where my expertise is. So think about where you're going to go, what you're going to pick, right? What channel you're going to pick. There are people like James Jani. They take a month, 2 months to create one YouTube videos. He has 20 YouTube videos on his entire YouTube channel, no shorts. And how many subscribers does he have? 1.5 million plus. At the time, I think he has 1.6 million plus subscribers. 20 videos. How crazy is that? And there are people like Devin Jatho. I don't think he's posted a single long form content thing. And he only does shorts on Instagram. I haven't even seen him on TikTok anywhere. So there are paths, and there definitely can be success with both of them. Just pick your own. So I would say if you're someone that's starting out, start out with short form content, because you need to build that muscle up of storytelling, of actually presenting yourself on camera. If you don't have those skills, you definitely need those. And short form content is an easy way to get those reps out and actually learn how to actually present yourself on camera, how to talk, storytelling. You learn a lot of things when you're doing short form content. And if you're someone that's already well versed with that, and you've actually done cool shit in your life, a lot of it, start with YouTube channel. Also, it's really crucial that you have a YouTube channel and you do long form if you have a business. Like, people are not going to buy from you if you don't educate them more on your offer. And you can treat your YouTube channel as the marketing, like the top of the marketing funnel, right? When people hop on a call with you, they should be ready to buy. They should have their credit cards out. They're like, okay, I know everything about your offer. I know what you do. I know how you do it. Here's my money. Take it. Please help me. Right? So if you're a business owner, long-form content is absolutely crucial for you. And yeah, if you're actually just starting out with content, just pick one and go with it, I would say. But for business owners, please do short form content. Sorry, long content.
Absolutely. And also, people who are watching this right now, like, don't just, like, the difference between, because I also have met a couple of billionaires, and really I have went into their way of thinking, how they think, how do they actually consume the information itself. Because in my opinion, the difference between actually like ultra successful people and people who are just kind of having these dreams and et cetera, and then just not executing. And because of that, they are not fulfilled. They are depressed. Their life goes backwards. What they have taught me is actually that the difference is the way how do you consume the information. Because most of the people gonna watch this right now, like you maybe, who is watching right now, you're just gonna consume it, and then it's just gonna kick back. That's back in your subconscious mind. Or they're gonna be actually the second example who gonna take this information and gonna let it into the implementing actually in their life, taking the action, which is super important also after this episode. If you are filming the videos, or if you're not, then you're just losing out. But anyways, yes, that's life. That's life. There are losers and there are winners, and it's your choice. But anyways, I do have a couple of personal questions I do want to ask and finish up on that note. So I really find your mind actually unique. And I do like to understand usually people's thinking frameworks and from where they are coming from. And my question to you is, this will be a question that usually people cannot answer. It's so simple yet hard. What's your mission?
My mission is actually to make an impact on the education system. Like ever since I was a child, I lost interest in like school and stuff because I had alopecia, so I had a balding condition where my hair actually just like went out and I lost a lot of hair. So
Like
from
me.
that, it's different, but yeah, you can get it back still. You can look into it.
I
You
am
still look
going to
handsome though, bro.
Turkey. I am going to Turkey soon, so no worries. Gonna get those supermodels.
Perfect.
All right.
You still look like a model though, but yeah. So
Right.
if where was I?
You were talking about the actually your mission, that you're on a mission to make an
Yeah.
impact in the education space.
Making an impact in the education system because like I said, I lost interest in school because I had a balding condition. So I started hating to go to school because, oh, what will my friends think and all that stuff. And that is when I really started to question, like, is school even needed? And a regret that I have is actually completing my 12th standard. I could have dropped out in the 11th. I learned absolutely nothing. So I have had the typical entrepreneur journey of like, oh, I went to school and failed me. Education system was not for me, right? And a lot of people can relate to that. So I definitely wanted to do something in the education space. I don't still know how right now. The way I'm fulfilling that purpose is a teacher in a donor school. I'm teaching people affiliate marketing using short form content. And it's really so much better than average schools. Schools are charging you ridiculous amounts, and a donor school is like $500, and like 100. It's $500, and then you get to learn directly from Hamza. Hamza has calls every single day. There are coaches like me every single day. We have calls and we talk. We have course materials. A lot of what I learned about storytelling was from course inside that. So it's crazy the value and price discrepancy that colleges and these online things have. Imagine a guy has 100K and he spends that on college versus a guy that has 100K and he spends that on online education.
Yeah.
After 4 years, they will not be comparable. Like the guy that spends it online is going to kill the guy that spends it on college, because on college, you when you go in and you come out, you actually have the same level of skills. You learned nothing. You have nothing to offer to the marketplace except a paper, which I don't know what you're gonna do with. You are in debt. You're gonna spend like the next 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever years of your life just paying that debt off. So it's crazy how old our education system actually is, and we need to bring it online. There are ways to do it, and I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose that way. But yeah, eventually I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I hope I can make an impact.
Awesome. I love it. What are the values you are embodying?
The values that I'm embodying. So that's a good question that I've never thought about actually. I need to write that down on a paper and think about it. But off the top of my head, I would say honesty. Honesty is one that I would like to embody. Obviously, I'm not perfect. Like I've done crazy dishonest stuff. So it's something that I'm working towards. And like I'm young right now, I have time to work on it. But honesty is definitely one. It's with people, it's with my own self. Like when I tell something to myself, I'm going to do it, that means I'm going to do it. Right. So honesty is one. Other values, let me think. You're making me think now.
That's good.
I would say loyalty as well. Like if someone actually did me a favor, I I'm not the type to actually forget them and just move on to the other thing, or like ditch them in any way, shape, or form. So honesty, loyalty, and it's difficult, man. I need to think about this one, but I'm curious, what are your values? Because since you've asked this question, I think you've thought about this in depth.
Yeah, sure. I actually have embodied our company's values more than mine right now. But no, I do have, which is forcible courage, because behind every brave thought, innovation, action, there is courage. And I do really respect people who dare to think different. And because of that, as I said, they are difficult. And to be different and result in so difficult and then make history, you have to have courage as a fundamental bone. And yeah, that's my first one. Second is actually also loyalty, which is super important. The people around you, it's your brotherhood, it's your family at the end of the day. People who you're gonna share your DNA actually throughout the day. They're gonna be the people who gonna influence you, your directions, your thoughts, and etc., etc. So it's super important. And also from my experience, because this is not a podcast about me, but I also have went through quite a roller coaster, but I have just understood how people, what do people really want at the end of the day, why they are staying, why they are not staying. And it's really important at the very beginning to actually not be fake against any kind of person, not try to impress them with some external things, things that validate your personality. More come from actually the internal within yourself. Present yourself as a naked human being, you know, like two friends, imagine going into the spa, for example, sauna, like they are sweating. It's like their blood pressure is going up and it's like getting hot. And that's where the real conversation starts. And I like usually to start actually the relationships in places like that are like high pressure, because that's where you meet actually the person. The third one is actually think, do, build different. It's not really like a value, it's more like a principle. But again, it's coming from Steve Jobs. And in my opinion, being authentic, it's super important. And that's going with the think, do, build different, because at the end of the day, we have one life. Actually, we have two lives, and the second one starts when you realize you have one. But that's really the jackpot moment. That's the moment when you have that bliss moment, when you really go, you feel limitless. You feel like there is no time existing, and you are just passionate about what you're doing. You're becoming the best at your craft. And yeah, that's when you think, do, build different. And fourth one is, I'm not really sure about this because I'm going through interesting also period of actually switching the focuses in my life. But I would say it's time. And what do I mean with time? It's really understanding its power, its meaning, how priceless it is, how to not waste it, where to actually put your time, how to leverage your time. So those are my four. I do not have five like in all these YouTube videos. Top 5 values, top 5 rich get quick schemes, and etc. etc.
I absolutely love the passion with which you like talk about your values, and I can see that storyteller in you. You should definitely start with content like ASAP. The reason I'm not doing it myself is because like do cool shit and then talk about it. I'm doing the first step right now. So as soon as I'm like, I feel like I'm done with that part, because it helps a lot with the imposter syndrome as well, right? You won't feel like an imposter if you've had a ton of evidence behind you. Like, I've done this, you cannot argue with that. So but you should definitely start, bro. Like, you've got that dog in yourself.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I gonna not say that sentence, but it's like kind. Thank you. I gonna actually work on it really intensely. It's gonna take some time, gonna take some effort, but the last thing I'm scared of is effort, pain, and sweat. So with that said, ladies and gents, Mr. Aman was today on the board. I was, man, really a big pleasure actually to speaking with you. I found a lot of things valuable. So again, down below, there's the agency's link. This guy is going to move mountains. Mark my words.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's a very kind outro.